The silence in my apartment had become a physical presence, a heavy blanket I wore every evening after work. It was in one of these moments, scrolling through a phone full of contacts yet feeling utterly alone, that a picture made me pause. It was Elara, my best friend Kaylan's mom, her smile not quite reaching her eyes since his move to Singapore. On a whim fueled by a cheap beer and a profound sense of solidarity in loneliness, I typed out a text. The rent's too high and the quiet is too loud. Do you want to move in with me? I added a laughing emoji, a digital shield for the sliver of genuine sentiment behind the joke. I tossed the phone aside, expecting a laughing emoji in return, and forgot about it. If you believe that kindness and second chances can change a life, then please support stories like this. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Dranpas Book to keep these narratives of hope alive. The next evening, my doorbell chimed, a sound so rare it startled me. I opened the door to find Elara standing there, a small, nervous smile on her face, a single suitcase resting beside her on the welcome mat. The sight was so incongruous it took my brain a moment to catch up. "Liam," she said, her voice soft but steady, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. "About your text. Is your offer still good?" The joke had landed, but not in the way I'd intended. It had found a home in a heart that was truly breaking. I ushered her in, my mind reeling. Over a pot of tea that steamed between us on the coffee table, the full story tumbled out. The sale of the family home after the divorce was final, the empty rooms that echoed with memories, the well-meaning but suffocating offers from relatives who saw her as a problem to be solved. My silly text, she explained, felt like the first life raft thrown to her in an ocean of grief, a choice, not a burden. And so she moved into the spare room. The first week was a delicate dance of politeness. We were two satellites in a small orbit, careful not to collide. I'd find her staring out the kitchen window, a cup of cold coffee in her hands, lost in a past I couldn't see. I was struggling with my own ghosts, the fear that my life was plateauing, that I was destined for this quiet, solitary existence. But then small shifts began to occur. I'd come home to the scent of rosemary and roasted garlic, a meal she'd prepared because she remembered I'd mentioned having a tough day. She'd left a biography on my desk with a sticky note that read, "This reminded me of your passion for history." She saw me not as Kaylan's friend but as Liam. One Saturday, I found her looking at a photo album she'd brought, tears tracing quiet paths down her cheeks. I sat beside her, and instead of offering empty words, I simply listened as she spoke of Kaylan as a boy, of dreams she'd set aside, of the person she was before she was just a mom or a wife. In return, I shared my own fears, the pressure of a stagnant career, the loneliness that a crowded bar could never cure. We weren't filling the silence anymore. We were rebuilding a world within it, piece by fragile piece. Our shared home became a sanctuary. We started a ritual of Friday night movies, arguing good-naturedly over classics versus C. We planted a small herb garden on the balcony, our hands brushing in the soil, a simple touch that sent a jolt of something warm and unexpected through me. I began to notice the way laughter looked on her face, real, unguarded, reaching the corners of her eyes, and how the sound of it felt like light flooding my darkened apartment. The change was gradual, like the turning of the seasons, until one evening, it wasn't. We were cleaning up after dinner, a soft melody playing from my speaker. Our hands reached for the same dishcloth, and we froze, fingers touching. The air grew thick and charged. I looked at her, truly looked at her, and saw no trace of my friend's mother. I saw Elara, a strong, beautiful woman who had rebuilt herself from the rubble, whose kindness had become the anchor of my days. I saw the journey in her eyes, and the hope. I gently took the cloth from her hand, my fingers lingering on hers. "Lara," I whispered, her name a prayer on my lips. She didn't pull away. Instead, she stepped closer, her gaze holding mine with an intensity that stole my breath. In that suspended moment, the last of our carefully maintained walls crumbled into dust. I leaned in, and she met me halfway. The kiss was not an explosion, but a homecoming, a slow, tender, and profound confirmation of everything that had been growing between us in the quiet moments. It was a promise of a new beginning, forged from an ending, born from a joke that turned out to be the most sincere question I had ever asked. If this story of a second chance at love and life has touched your heart, if you believe in the beauty of unexpected connections, then please let us know. Your engagement, your likes, your comments, your shares, fuels our ability to bring you more tales that remind us of the power of the human heart. We would be so grateful if you could take a moment to comment below with the word KNDS to show your support for the channel.